Hi there everybody, welcome to your monthly dose of me. It is currently the start of September and I'm editing a video that I should have uploaded a couple weeks ago, but we're doing it for this month because I'm not going to be able to keep up with any more work because college has just started. I've already got a bunch of work to do for that, and I do still want to upload on here, and after this I want to start on the October video because I'm looking forward to that. So today I'm going to show you how I made my Vorpal blade for my American McGee's Alice cosplay. So I made this in 2 days, which might be a bit apparent because it's barren over here and it is quite messy, but the reason I made this prop is back in May I had a photo shoot with my friend Niels, who also shot the Sand Planet photos. Because we were doing a studio shoot, I really wanted to take a couple props with me, and Vorpal Blade is such an iconic weapon that Alice uses in the game, so I really wanted to recreate it. But I had 2 days to do it. And I also recorded it, which kind of ate away at the time, but at the same time, now I have a video for you, so let's get into how I made this. Start off with, I looked up reference images of the Vorpal blade, so I had an idea of what the intricate floral print should look like. I plopped that into Photoshop to kind of pre-make a printable template for myself, and I enlarged it in a way that I could easily trace it and it'd be the size that I want it to be. Of course you can also use other programs to do this. This is just the way I did it. I also printed it in black and white because you really don't need colour for this. You need to just have like a basic idea. Luckily my dad for some reason made a light box, so I used that to trace it onto the other side so I'd have a mirrored image of the other side of the knife. I did start with like a light pen and then at some point I quickly realized that that's way too dark, so I go and grab a darker pen to trace the rest. So here I am just tracing the floral design of the knife. I don't know if this is the most efficient way to do it, but for me this helps to just get uh, the floral thing on both sides and get an idea of what it would look like on the knife. There's a couple different ways that I thought about doing this, but this seemed like the best, most comfortable way to do it in the short period of time that I had. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say, so please enjoy this little time-lapse thing. Next up, I grabbed some EVA foam. I have a lot of sheets just ready to use. I do try and use my scrap box, which I'm doing here. I'm trying to look for a scrap piece that'll work. And then I cut out the prints that I made. I cut out both the print that I did and the mirrored side that I traced off of that same image, and also the handle for this. I'm only using the handle as a reference for the shape, not so much for the design on itself. And then I trace it onto thick EVA foam because I have lots of it and I don't know what else to use it for because I don't particularly enjoy using it for anything other than props, and I don't make props an awful lot, as you might be able to tell. I've extended the handle a bit so that the handle part is only really foam that goes over it later. I've also made sure to trace like the blade line so I can cut that out later. Next, I have another time-lapse bit that I won't be able to talk about much because I'm just cutting out the design so that I have that to trace onto the foam later. Wow, look at that! It's a piece of paper and another piece of paper with holes in it. Wow! Here I am cutting out the EVA foam with a blade that really wasn't sharp enough, but I couldn't be bothered to sharpen it, so you know, you live with that. Yeah, not the smartest move, but hey, it did the job. And this part is also kind of ugly. I should have probably started with the part that was going to be visible, just because you're always going to get the cleaner lines that way. I also try and like cut bits off on the top because it looked a bit messy, but I don't think it really helped that much. And then next I'm tracing the other side to make sure that that's sort of aligned with the pattern I'm using later. Here I am kind of making a middle line so that I kind of know from what angle I need to cut the foam to get that blade blade texture. And here I am carving it. It looks pretty okay, but it's a bit messy. And here I am tracing the floral design onto the knife itself. And here I'm using a, I don't know what they're called, but I'm using this to kind of melt the foam so you get that floral design. And I think this is really helpful. I do think, as it turns out, my dad had like a thinner one that would have been a lot better to use for this. This is like the metal, and we also have one that's specifically for cutting foam, which is daintier and makes it easier to draw, but this worked. Make sure that you're in a well ventilated area because this is very bad for your lungs. The foam melting stinks really bad. Make sure you're wearing protective gear. I should have probably been wearing gloves, but I didn't because I was rushing. Yeah, and that's slowly the designs coming together. I do really like how this looks because it does give kind of the texture that to me the metal looks like this. It gives kind of like a metalwork texture, which I think is really cool, especially after painting because it's quite a rough area because it's melted foam. So then once the blade had its design on it, I made sure to do it on both sides, of course. I think this already looks really cool and looks more like metal than it does foam. And then next we'll work on the handle. So I just used some, I think 2mm craft foam. I have a lot of this because every single time I find it in a craft store, I buy a big old pack. I've cut it 2 sides out and tried to curve them a little bit to get that kind of detail. If you were to actually use heat on it instead of just squishing it a little bit, it'd probably be better, but I did not feel like grabbing the heat gun. So I used foam clay to add all the details and fill in the side cracks to kind of finish the edge off. What I didn't realize is foam clay needs about 24 hours to dry, which I didn't let it do. Here I am immediately afterwards just priming it. And it worked out kind of okay, but the clay kind of sunk in, which isn't ideal, but I know that for next time. And after I've primed it, I'm painting it the next evening. I think this is the night before the shoot. But I start with a silver paint to just go over the blade part. I used a really darkish brown for the handle, just for the contrast. It doesn't look very different from the black primer, but there is a visible difference. If the handle had that detailing on it, you'd probably see it a lot better, but I didn't add that because I didn't have time. And that's it. That's how I did it. It is very much rushed, and I definitely recommend taking more time than 2 days to work on this, but hopefully this helped. If you have any methods how to do this better or tips on how to get cleaner cut lines, things like that, leave them in the comments and I'll feature them. I'm not very familiar with YouTube lingo, as you might be able to tell, but you know, it'd be great to help each other, because that's the whole point of this video. Is if it's helpful to anybody, that means it was a success. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!